The season one finale of Ted Lasso arrives with Nate arriving at the clubhouse to find that his normal duties have been performed. He's pretty confused. He doesn't know what's going on. And at first, he thought he was getting fired and he started to yell at her, called her a shrew. But turns out he got promoted, as Ted says. And then the whole locker room shows themselves and they show that they knew what was going on the whole time as Coach Beard and Ted Lasso present Nate with his whistle and say, "You're officially Coach Nate." Roy then comes into Ted's office and tells him, due to league rules, he's going to have to pick a new captain. Ted disagrees and says, "No, you're my captain." And then Roy says, "Well, these are the rules. You got to pick a new captain." And then Ted says, "Well, new rule, you find the new captain." They go back and forth like this for a while, but finally Roy agrees and will pick a new captain. Then Ted and the entire Richmond squad are prepping for the match against Man City. Ted is trying to say, everybody relax, just a normal game. But then players start saying, oh, it's not a normal game. And Isaac brings up that they could be relegated. Then Sam goes, do you not get relegated in America? Ted says, no, everyone pretty much just plays out their schedule, good or bad. And everyone's pretty much fine with that. They have to play Manchester City for their last game. Who's on that team? Jamie Tart. So Coach Nate, I'm sorry, brings up a video of Jamie and he's trashing AFC Richmond, even though he's trying to act like he's not. But he ultimately says he's ready to put the final nail in the coffin. And then Isaac throws a chair into the TV, which made Roy pretty happy. At the bar, Ted and Coach Beard are talking about the relegation system, and the three fans that have been harassing Ted for the entire season pretty much come around and show him respect, even though they said he was shit. And Ted goes, "Come on, doesn't anybody have a little hope?" Everyone laughs at him and says, "It's the hope that kills you," which is the title of the finale episode. Ted has an emergency meeting at his house with the coaches, and Nate brings up the point that if Crystal Palace win their game by 6 goals or more, that Richmond could still advance. They could survive relegation with a draw if Crystal Palace wins their game by 6. Ted doesn't like this whole draw thing. He doesn't believe in ties. So he storms around his house looking for one of his miniature believe signs that he says he has all up over his house and calls the two coaches negative Nellies because he doesn't think anyone actually believes in their chances of winning the game. The next morning, Ted goes for breakfast with the boss, with Rebecca, and he goes into her office and he tells her that maybe she would have been better off with an actual soccer coach. And if it comes time for her to fire him, that he doesn't want her to feel bad. Rebecca, now fully on Team Lasso, says it's okay that he's not like every other coach. And she encourages him to cause confusion. And once he says that, he goes, yeah, or create chaos. And then the idea sparks, which draws right to the next scene where they are drawing up trick plays. He asks all the members of the team if they ever had a really good trick play, and they start writing them down and explaining them. And Ted has Coach Beard throw in the Lasso special in there. Next up, Jamie is at the barbershop where we see the Ussy fan from episode 1. He goes to get an Ussy with Jamie while talking about Ted Lasso, saying that he likes Jamie now. Then the fan goes, yeah, he must be playing mind games. Jamie starts getting really confused, so he texts Keely to see if she can talk. He shows up at Keely's, but Roy answers the door. And the two have an awkward exchange and are sitting there. Roy made a coffee for Keely. Jamie bought a coffee for Keely. She mixes them together and says, all right, what's on your mind, Jamie? What's up? Jamie is saying how he believes Ted is playing mind games. And Roy and Keely both say, no, he genuinely liked you and he's not out to get you. Jamie leaves the house not believing in this still and says to Roy, enjoy the game on the bench tomorrow, old man. Right before the game, Roy goes up to Isaac and makes him captain. And he says, never stop throwing chairs. And then we're treated to another inspirational speech from Coach Lasso, where he's saying how he doesn't like the line, it's the hope that kills you. And now, being from America, I'm not familiar with this line, but all the players in the locker room seem to nod that they've heard this line before. He asks, do you believe in miracles, to his team? And anyone that does, come on up in the circle. So the whole team gets riled up. They go next to him in the circle, and they say, Captain, arm in. Everybody looks at Roy. Roy nods to Isaac. Isaac puts his hand in, and he's like, all right, what's up, Skip? And Isaac says, Richmond on 12. Then we're in the game. It seems like it's pretty back and forth. Each side gets a good opportunity, including the Sandman trick play that Danny Rojas came up with. It was a nice chance, but ultimately, this half goes scoreless. In the locker room, Sam is asking to put up the Crystal Palace score, but Ted says, no, we're going for the win, not to tie. And he also says, Roy, you're starting the second half. Let's get going. Then, out of nowhere, Manchester City gets a penalty in the 61st minute, and they take a 1-0 advantage. Right after that, Jamie Tart has a breakaway opportunity, and Roy tracks him down, and he gets him, and he slide tackles, and he breaks the play up, but hurts himself in the process, heads to the locker room. But before that, the entire Richmond fan base serenades Roy with his signature song. As Arlo White says, that's the same song we've been hearing in the Premier League for a decade. Roy then goes into the locker room and is comforted by Keeley. Then, all of a sudden, the fans start to go a little crazy around the stadium, and you could feel the electricity buzzing. Nate says, hold on. Wow, Crystal Palace actually did it. They won 6-0. Now, as they say this, Ted relays the message onto the field so his players can know that all they need to do is tie. They don't need to win the game, as Richmond are given a free kick. Then this happens. Led by Isaac, the team decides to go with the Lasso special, really making Ted happy because he says, I didn't even say it. They're just going to run the play on their own. The Lasso special is a great play based on American football, which ends up with Danny Rojas scoring the tying goal on a great pass from Sam on a great play drew up by Ted Lasso and ran by his players. However, while everyone in the Richmond side is celebrating, Man City rushes down and they have an attack on goal. It's Jamie. He has a clear shot on net, but what does he do? He makes the extra pass, and unfortunately, Manchester City score to win the game and to send Richmond back down to the championship. On the way back to Richmond's locker room, Ted sees Jamie in a different treatment locker room, and he's being berated by his father for passing the ball. And we can kind of see why Jamie has such a high guard up from having a father figure like this, always wanting him to be the one to score the goal and not be a team player. In the post-game speech, Ted tells the team to keep their heads up and to be grateful that they are going through this sad moment with all of these great folks together and that they will never be alone, as a rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone is played in the background. Ted then says, hey, Sam, what should we all act like right now? Sam says, a goldfish. As Jamie is heading towards his team bus to go back to Manchester, Coach Beard tracks him down and hands him a letter or a note from Ted Lasso that Jamie thinks is a love letter, but he opens it up and it says, way to make that extra pass, Ted. Jamie seems pretty taken back by this and pretty happy to have received this note. And now he knows it wasn't mind games all along, that Ted does truly care for him. He also gave him one of his army figures to be his defense because he knows what he's going through with his father now. Then as Higgins is exiting Rebecca's office so that Rebecca and Ted can speak, Ted figures he's getting fired, so he says, I'll save you the trouble and I'll just quit. But then Rebecca says, Ted, you're not going anywhere. Otherwise, how can we prepare for next season? Ted gets really excited and ends up spitting his bubble water all over Rebecca's face as the season ends. And I'll tell you what, this show is so good, so well done, and it's just a message of positivity that is sorely needed right now. So Ted Lasso, can't wait to have you back in my life for season 2, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this recap.
Hey, everybody, thank you so much for watching this recap. That was actually my buddy Dan from Scene Invader, so do me a favor, head on over there and give them the subscription, not me, because they helped me out with this one. They also just have, good stuff on their channel that you should watch and check out. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that crap. Hey, go buy a mug, too, because, I got bills to pay.